Good evening and welcome to the June 17th meeting. If you would please stand, Councilman Flores is going to lead us in the flag salute.
Hi everybody, please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. So our first ceremonial this evening is recognition of the City of Chino's Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. I'd like to invite Diana Manzano Garcia, Area D Director of the Southern Chapter of the California Emergency Services Association, to recognize the Chino CERT program Eaton Fire volunteers. Diana? Would you? Oh, Diana, come up here. All the way up here.
Hi, good evening. Thank you all for coming. My name is Diana Manzano Garcia. I'm a Disaster Management Area Coordinator in LA County for Area D. I'm a neighbor of yours, so yay for that. Real quick, and I'll read what I actually wrote out for the CERT members. I'm really thankful for the collaboration, cooperation, coordination that we were able to do for our partners in the Eaton Fire, which were the cities of Altadena, Pasadena, and Sierra Madre. The call that we received was a last-minute call, gave us 24 hours to deploy our CERT members, and we're very grateful of the work that they did for the week deployment. So if I can say some words. Good evening, Mayor, Council members, and residents of Chino. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you this evening to recognize a group of individuals whose dedication, bravery, and compassion truly exemplify the best of community service. We are here to celebrate the outstanding efforts of the Chino Community Emergency Response Team, also known as CERT, who answered the call when our community needed them the most. When the Eaton Fire threatened homes, displaced families, and disrupted lives in Altadena, Pasadena, and Sierra Madre, our community faced an urgent need, not just for resources, but for calm, coordinated action and compassionate outreach. In those critical days following the fire, the CERT volunteers stepped up without hesitation. Following the Eaton Fire, the CERT members were deployed at the request of the Los Angeles County Office of Emergency Management through Area D CERT Mutual Aid, to assist in the operations of the Disaster Resource Center in Pasadena. Their role was vital in managing influx of community members seeking assistance, ensuring that individuals and families were directed to the appropriate service stations efficiently and compassionately. Their participation helped streamline the process, reducing confusion and allowing residents to receive the necessary support without unnecessary delays. For an entire week, the CERT members worked tirelessly, demonstrating remarkable teamwork, adaptability, and problem-solving skills. They assisted with logistics, provided accurate information to community members, and facilitated coordination between different service providers. Their presence significantly eased the burden of local emergency personnel and agency representatives, allowing for a more focused and effective disaster recovery operation. Beyond their operational contributions, the CERT members exhibited exemplary professionalism and empathy while interacting with affected residents. Their ability to provide reassurance, clear guidance, and support to those navigating difficult circumstances was invaluable. They acted as a bridge between community members and available resources, ensuring that, everyone received the appropriate assistance with dignity and respect. The outstanding service demonstrated by the CERT members set a high standard for community emergency response efforts. Their willingness to step up at a time of crisis, their ability to work seamlessly across multiple jurisdictions, and their dedication to public service deserve the highest recognition. Their selfless contributions not only helped with immediate disaster relief, but also reinforced the importance of well-trained community responders in emergency management. The CERT team demonstrated not only skill, but an extraordinary commitment to the values that bind our community together: service, solidarity, and hope. Today, we present California Emergency Service Association Southern Chapter Silver Award as a symbol of our deepest gratitude, not just for what they did during the Eaton Fire, but who they are every day: steadfast, reliable, and selfless. Their collective efforts had a profound impact on disaster recovery operations and exemplify the true spirit of emergency response. It is dedicated disaster recovery it is teams like these that strengthen our communities and enhance our ability to recover from adversity. Their training prepared them, their hearts led them. To each member of the CERT team, thank you. Our communities are stronger, safer, and more resilient because of you. Please join me in giving a warm round of applause as we present the CISA Southern Chapter Silver Award to the Chino Community Emergency Response Team.
Good evening. My name is Brian Arizumi. My full-time job, I'm the public safety manager for the city of Duarte. But Diane and I are both directors on the CISA Southern Chapter Board of Directors, and I also assist, and I'm the chair for the Area D Regional CERT Mutual Aid. And so we recognized 9 teams. Chino is one of 9 teams that responded to our call for service. And so this is our small way of thanking, especially Chino being a brand new CERT team. We want to recognize the leadership of the City of Chino City Council, Chino PD, and the leadership of the CERT program under Denise's tutelage. So it shows that they're willing to cross county borders to offer assistance. And so disasters know no boundaries, and this demonstrates that effort. And so we have the plaque. This is the California Emergency Service Association Southern Chapter Silver Award, proudly presented to CERT teams from the cities of Chino, Claremont, Duarte, Glendora, Laverne, Monrovia, Ontario, San Dimas, and Temple City, recognizing the CERT teams. It's hard to see it. All right, recognizing the CERT teams for their exceptional service and commitment to community resilience during their deployment to the Eaton Fire Disaster Recovery Center. And so we do want to present this silver award to the CERT team, and we also have individual awards, and I understand the mayor also has some awards as well. And so. All right, so our first CERT member, Ana Cervantes.
Thank you. Now I know what my kinder's going to do, right?
All right, Jamie Decker. Bob Gahagan. Oscar Limon. Good seeing you, Oscar. Congratulations. Oscar, this is yours. And I know she's going to fight it, but Denise School. And I don't know if she's here. Lily Valdivia.
I'd like to congratulate you all, and on behalf of the City Council, thank you very, very much for going through the training and reaching out, and thank you very much for being here this evening and recognizing their efforts. So I think everybody needs to shift to the left so that they can get a picture. And I'll squish on the end. Thank you again very much. Photoshop. Okay, next we have recognition of Chino Valley Medical Center's CEO, Gail Aviato. I'd like to call up Gail, please. Would you like to bring up your team as well? Come on up, team. Ms. Javiado was recently honored as the 2025 Leading Woman by Modern Healthcare, a monumental achievement that highlights her continued dedication to the health and wellness of the entire Chino Valley. On behalf of the Chino City Council and the entire city of Chino, we thank you for your tireless work and commitment to our community's well-being. And we have a certificate for you, and it reads, Certificate of Recognition. The City of Chino congratulates you for being recognized as one of modern healthcare's leading women for 2025. Thank you for your dedication and commitment to patient care and for serving as a mentor for all in healthcare.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for having us here again. I didn't know that the entire team will be here, but thank you all. And my family is here as well. This is how we feel this recognition is important to all of us, coming from the City Council, the Mayor, and the community members of Chino. This is an incredible honor. I always say doctor, sorry. Mayor, and I am truly, truly humbled to receive this 2025 Modern Healthcare Leading Woman Award to represent Chino Valley Medical Center and also the vibrant city of Chino. I was recognized under Chino's name and Chino Valley Medical Center, and I am grateful for your support for empowering women leaders, as you are a woman leader as well. And it just gives us an inspiration to continue to do what's best for our patients and the community of Chino. Thank you so much for this esteemed honor.
You're welcome. Gather around. Let's gather around so he can get a really good picture of you with your team. Oh, your son. Would you like to introduce your team? Oh, that would be a good idea.
Sure, Mayor. So,
Who's going to introduce the team first?
thank you. To your right, Mayor, is my husband, Billy. They've been my anchors for me to be able to do what I do for 2 hospitals. And here, my son, who just graduated, a doctor of pharmacy, and he will be, thank you. He will be joining the healthcare workforce for everybody, for the community that he can serve. And my team, our team from Chino Valley Medical Center, all of them are leaders of our organization. Christine Yusuf, she is the director of emergency department. And we have Grandpa here, we call him Grandpa. Ahmad. Yeah, he is our charge nurse in the emergency department. And then we have Aura, who is our house supervisor. And our director for business development, Roxanne Myers. She's helping us in the entire region, San Dimas and Montclair. And also we have Cindy, our manager for respiratory services. And our performance improvement quality director, Mayur. And Adelma, our admitting manager. So you would see them around the hospital if you come and visit us. And then our chief nursing officer from Montclair Hospital Medical Center is also here. Thank you.
One thing that she did not say is the gentleman with the white hair and the glasses is also known as the Jurassic Man because he's been around forever. Right. Okay, let's get a nice picture. He's been with the hospital 37 years.
Thank you, Mayor.
Once again, you're welcome. You're welcome. Bye, Christina. Good to see you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi. I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you.
Very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. So much fun. Okay, next we have very special recognition of Chino Valley Fire District's brand new hire firefighter paramedics. I'd like to call up District Battalion Chief Dean Smith, who's going to introduce the gentleman.
Excellent. I'd like to be joined by our firefighters here. They're going to come on up front. Thank you so much. I brought their names, though, because I'm not as good as Gail for remembering all my staff, and they are very new. So we are very honored to be able to just share with you a momentous time for us as a fire department. Whenever we bring on board new firefighters, new firefighter paramedics to serve this community, that is an honor. And each of these members have come from other departments to be able to join us, and I'd like to share that with you. I am going to read for a second here some short bios, and I've just asked them to maybe take a step forward when we introduce them, so you can guys get put the name with who these folks are. So, with that, we have Julian Alvarado. He began as a Chino Valley. Yeah, we got an applause. It was a short applause. That's okay. Began as a Chino Valley Fire Explorer before gaining experience as a firefighter paramedic with CAL FIRE Riverside. In his free time, Julian enjoys surfing, fishing with friends, and shaping surfboards. Thanks. Gabriel Avila. Gabe brings experience from the Long Beach Fire Department. In his free time, Gabriel enjoys snowboarding, mountain biking, dirt bike riding, and working with his hands, especially sewing and welding. Thank you. I always have to pause there. So great, so great. Robert Figueroa. So Robert brings experience from Dallas Fire Rescue, where he served as a firefighter paramedic. Outside of work, Robert enjoys spending time with his family, camping, fishing, and exploring new places to eat. Thank you. That brings us to James Matthias. He brings experience from his time with Carlsbad Fire Department. He and his family enjoy traveling and spending quality time together and not so much sewing, right? Okay, just checking. Thank you so much. Matthew Shields. Matthew brings experience from Lakeside Fire Protection District, the Loma Linda Fire Department, and Rural Metro Ambulance. In his free time, Matthew enjoys fishing, free diving, boating, mountain biking, and camping with his family. Oscar Top. He brings experience from his career working with CAL FIRE. In his free time, Oscar enjoys fishing, surfing, bodybuilding. Thanks, Oscar. And Adam Webb. He joins us with 5 years of experience from the North County Fire Protection District, including 3 years as an EMT and 2 years as a paramedic there. In his free time, Adam enjoys mountain biking, hiking, camping, riding both motorcycles and dirt bikes. Thank you. So, Mayor, and Council, we are so excited to bring these firefighters on board, as I said. This actually is a perfect time of season, as we know, to make sure that we're at full staff. And so with this team members and with these family members that we bring on board today, we are here to serve the community, and we're so happy to celebrate with you.
Thank you. Well, we welcome you aboard. And I know you come from other agencies. I think you are going to find that working with our police department is going to be very different from any experience that you have ever had. We truly have a team between police and fire. You're going to have companions. You're not going to have any kind of competition going. You will find that our officers are absolutely phenomenal, and you're going to love working here. So welcome to Chino Valley, and welcome to the city of Chino. Thank you very much for coming.
Any of them going to be your boxer?
And we want to get one picture. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, outdoors, right?
Okay, we're going to get a picture.
Link or on
Just all line up.
all line up?
Come on.
Yeah, 3 and 3.
Sure.
Three over.
Right over left at an angle.
You can tell Matt's not used to taking pictures. Thank you very much for coming this evening. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you around.
Gotta get your stool down.
I know. Need a step stool. Okay, prior to the council meeting, we did have closed session, so I'd like to ask our attorney to please read the results from our meeting.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, and all those present. The City Council met in closed session as announced by the Mayor and held a discussion on the following items. Number one, conference with real property negotiator concerning the property at 13272 6th Street, with the negotiating party being Tannehill Langdon TR. Under negotiation, price and terms of a potential acquisition, City Council held a discussion, provided direction to staff, and no further reportable action was taken. Item number two, conference with real property negotiator concerning the property at 5349 Phillips Boulevard, with the negotiating party being Christopher Thie. Under negotiation, price and terms of potential acquisition, again, City Council held a discussion, received an update, and provided direction to staff. No further reportable action. And finally, item number three, conference with labor negotiator concerning the various public employee associations listed on the agenda and previously announced. City Council received an update, provided direction. No further reportable action was taken. That concludes the report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. City Manager Wright, do we have any agenda modifications?
No changes, Mayor.
Okay. In our packet this evening is the external agency report for this evening. I encourage you all to access and read that. It has some very interesting information. Under public announcements, first, I'd like to thank you all for attending and tuning in to our State of the City address on June 11th. The theme for this year was Chino is ready for takeoff, and we showcased everything we've done to make Chino soar while offering an exciting glimpse of our future. To watch the entire State of the City address, please visit cityofchino.org/SOTC. Temperatures are heating up, which means it's a perfect time to listen to music or catch a movie on the City Hall lawn. Join us this Thursday, June 19th, to watch toe-tapping country group, the Mary White Band, at 7 p.m. right here at City Hall. On Friday, June 20th, don't miss a free screening of Beetlejuice at 6:30 p.m. Join the fun. Don't forget to bring your lawn chairs and blankets. For more information, please visit cityofchino.org/events. Now, calling all Chino skaters. Chris. Drop into Ayala Park this Saturday, June 21st from 3 to 6 p.m. for our annual Go Skate Day. We're celebrating International Go Skateboarding Day with an afternoon full of great food, giveaways, competitions, and plenty of skateboarding fun. For more information, contact the Community Services Parks and Recreation Department at 909-334-3257. And finally, join us as we celebrate Independence Day the Chino Valley Way during our annual two-day fireworks spectacular on Friday, June 27th from 4 to 10 p.m. and Saturday, June 28th from 1 to 10 p.m. at Ayala Park. This fun and family-friendly event brings the community together in a celebration of freedom and unity, complete with carnival rides, fun live performances, a salute to our men and women in uniform, and the best fireworks show in the Inland Empire on June 28th at 9 p.m. Pre-sale wristbands will go on sale from Monday, June 23rd, and will be available until Thursday, June 26th. Join the fun and learn more at cityofchino.org/FS. Also, please note the City Hall and city facilities will be closed on Friday, July 4th in recognition of Independence Day. We will reopen for our regular business hours on Monday, July 7th. Additionally, there will be no waste collection on Friday, July 4th. Services will be delayed by 1 day and will take place on Saturday, July 5th. Next on our agenda is the section for public comments. I take the written comments first and then open it up to anyone else. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the council on items that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. We can't take action on things that are not agendized, but we can hear your concerns. Our first written request to speak is Pastor Steve Hurlbert from Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. He's going to lead us in invocation if you'd like to join us.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. The book of James, chapter 1, verse 5 says, "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." Chapter 3, verse 17 tells us what that wisdom looks like. It says, "But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere." That's my prayer for this board tonight. Lord, thank you for the opportunity, Lord, to just call on your name as this group begins. Lord, I ask and pray that, Lord, you would give them wisdom that comes from you. And Lord, may that wisdom look like we just described it. Lord, full of mercy, open to reason, impartial, sincere. Lord, I pray that your good hand would be on this city. Lord, we thank you for the leadership here tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, next we have Anthony Moreno, representing Senator Susan Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Anthony Moreno. I'm a district representative for State Senator Susan Rubio, and I'm here today on behalf of the Senator to invite the Chino community to our open house and resource fair that's going to be held at our district office in Ontario. It's located at 1520 North Mountain Avenue. It's located in the parking lot. It's only about a 15 to 18-minute drive from Chino, so it's not too far away. We're expecting agreeable weather as opposed to how it's been the last few days, and so if anyone in our community would like to come out, we'd love to have you. There'll be food available and refreshments as well. And the senator will be making remarks around 11:30. She'll be providing a legislative update. So love to see you, our residents there. Thank you very much.
What time does it start?
Oh, it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. I also left some flyers for the event. I believe it's in the hallway.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, Bob Nigg.
Thank you. My name is Bob Nigg. I'm here to speak on the Orbit's Eden development. If this development is built as proposed, it will not become Eden. It will become the project from hell. On May 21st, the Planning Commission heard the applications for the project. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend that meeting. From what I heard, the Commission rushed their decision to approve the project. The Commission had the responsibility to listen to and provide findings of facts in response to very valid concerns and objections made by Chino's citizens. Unfortunately, the Commission failed to perform their duties by conducting an independent quasi-judicial review of the facts. It was disrespectful to our community when they ignored valid comments and objections and then failed to provide transparent answers and take full accountability for their actions. Based upon a last-minute notice by Orbitz, a challenge was made under the Housing Accountability Act. This written notice outlined why the Commission's actions would prevent or hinder the project's approval under HAA. This notice should be recognized as a challenge to the agency's conduct and a basis for arguing that the project would be effectively disapproved under the HAA if the commission delayed the project by addressing the concerns of the public, including the storage facility. On June 5th, I submitted a complaint to the city alleging various violations of law, including the city not abiding by the requirements of HAA under Section 655-89.5H6D. The city was required to post a written notice within 5 days and not make a determination for at least 60 days after receiving the notice. No determination to approve or disapprove should have been made for 60 days to give opportunity for objections. The commission decided that night to approve the project. I'm not claiming to be an expert in all the complexities of the affordable housing laws of California. Today, the city provided me an incomplete and one-sided explanation that does not address all the facts. It is appalling the commission approved the project without knowing the full requirements of the law. The city argues Section 655-89.5H2 is the only definitive requirement. However, Section H2 is not exclusive and does not remove the requirements of H3 for 13% low-income units to be included in a HCD-approved site. Our housing element requires low-income units, and thus the 13% low-income requirement under H3 is required by law for a low-income housing development project covered under the HAA. Incomplete and questionable advice by the city attorney is not justification to violate the law. The commission should have been informed of the requirements of H3 before making their decision. Why was the project approved requiring only 9% low-income units? The application states 264 units will be built, and the city is only requiring 9% low-income units, or 24 units. State law and local zoning code require that all calculations of the number of affordable units required in a project that result in fractional units shall be rounded up to the next whole number. The planning division did not even perform basic math and calculate at a minimum there should have been 27 low-income units. 264 units divided by 9.882 acres equals 26.9 units per acre, rounded to 27. Should have required 10%. The commission also failed to provide written findings of fact for the tentative track map application under the legal standards of state law and a local zoning code. Just saying no negative impact is not legally sufficient. The city still has the legal opportunity to mitigate the negative effects of this project. Even under HAA, the city can still enforce objective, quantifiable written development standards, conditions, and policies. If our city's leaders would only listen to the citizens, we can improve this project. Instead of looking for unsupported technical reasons and excuses to approve the project, the city should govern in accordance with the law to protect its citizens from profit-driven developers. I understand the council cannot take action on an issue not on the agenda. Council members do have the right to request an item be placed on the next agenda. I request that my complaint be placed on the next agenda so that city staff can be required to provide a full status report and explain to the community how the city is in compliance with state laws, and also provide the ability for the public to object to the one-sided opinions of the city. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. I might not always be correct in my understanding of the law, but our city leaders should do their job and provide appropriate explanations in a timely manner. The citizens of Chino should be treated with respect and deserve better from our city leaders. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Bob. Next is Carissa Ramirez.
Good evening. My name is Carissa Ramirez. I have been a lifelong resident of Chino, and I came to express my disappointment and my concern with the Chino Police Department's cooperation with ICE. I recently saw the statement from Chief Menson that was made on Facebook, which is not an official city website, I might add, on June 10th, and was really dissatisfied with the dodgy language that was used. It made it seem like Chino PD was not working with ICE, when later in the statement it was confirmed that support would be given when they request mutual aid. I want to say for the record, I know myself and likely many other Chino residents as well would be appalled by any aid given by our city to ICE raids that are ravaging our community, especially if this so-called aid was to preserve officer safety in a situation that ICE is instigating. There have been multiple accounts within this state and across the country that have shown ICE unlawfully detaining people. Some include U.S. citizens, some include people with valid work visas, and sometimes people are being arrested with false or expired warrants. While that might not be happening here, the mere chance of that happening should be of great concern to you as the leaders and the protectors of this community. Chino as a city, and especially the Chino Police Department, who potentially is providing aid, should not participate since it threatens our community's well-being, safety, and rights. One of Chino's missions, as seen many times in tonight's agenda, is to have exemplary leadership and public service. This is an opportunity to demonstrate that by making a choice to protect all of the constituents who live here, and not just the ones that you think should be here or align with the beliefs or identities that you... Never mind. I will say on a general note, I'm extremely displeased and concerned with the city as demonstrated by the guest speaker at the prayer breakfast. Additionally, I was here and recall the dismissive responses during the George Floyd protests of 2020 and the following request to consider defunding the police and how those were ignored. At this point, there is unfortunately an undeniable pattern that members of certain marginalized communities are not always taken seriously and supported in the same way that others are in our city. Chino is seemingly becoming a place where not everything and everyone can grow, like our city claims, but only those who fall into a certain background or belief system. Other California cities like Glendale have refused to cooperate with ICE. I ask our city to consider the same course of action. I worry my plea today will not be taken seriously. However, I hope that there is a public response from this body that upholds their mission and statement right there. That proves me wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa. Those are the only written requests I had to speak. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda? Come on up, sir.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Medrano, resident of Chino. I'm talking about the Eden project, also just like Bob. My concerns were that the city attorney mentioned at the Planning Commission meeting that this Orbis had just sent them or sprung on them the document. Yet I got a copy of the letter from their law firm, and it says via electronic email, May 16th. That's 5 days before the Planning Commission meeting. So how could it be sprung on someone if he had it already? It talks about, all the information under HAA or HHA. And to me, the biggest problem I see here is that it seemed like he was telling them or giving them advice that they had no choice but to approve it that night. With something this large that has such a major impact on our city, as Bob mentioned, you have 60 days to look at this. This is a major decision that's being made. Being here in Chino, our area where we're at is going to be heavily impacted to us. One of the other big problems that we're having is if it gets approved the way it is, you're telling other developers, here's the roadmap on how to do whatever you want in the city of Chino for development. Because they're going to say, well, you approved it at the Eden project. Why can't I have the same thing over in my area where I purchased the land? We are setting a really bad precedent by doing this. Please, I implore you to take the time, look at everything, and make decisions. I know a lot of people are against that project, and I know part of it is your hands are tied on some things. But overall, I think we need to do things that help our city, that make Chino what it is, a beautiful place to live. So I ask you to please take that under advisement, and please ask the Planning Commission either rescind what they did or ask them to take a look at it again. Because it just seems so quick what they did. It almost seemed like it was pre-rehearsed. like, the city attorney says, oh, I got this, and there's nothing you guys can do. Some of the planning commission members were actually wanted to ask questions, Cisneros and that, and they didn't have an opportunity. They said, well, we can't do anything because we're being advised that we have to approve it today. Nowhere did it say that. And that's, it almost feels like the developers are wagging our tail around the city. And I am very upset about that. And please, I ask you to do what's right for Chino. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, then we will move on to the consent calendar. Item number 2 is being pulled. 2 of our members were not at that meeting. I would like to entertain a motion for the balance of the consent calendar unless any council members wish to have any other items pulled. Okay, then we need a motion and a second, please. We have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilman Lucio. Please vote. And we're missing. Karen, you don't need to abstain because we pulled item number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mayor, I made a mistake.
Can we retake that vote, please, Natalie?
I've got it backwards. My apologies.
That's okay. Okay, once again, the motion and the second, please. A motion from Councilman Lucio, second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. Okay, the balance of the consent calendar passes unanimously. Item number 2 were the minutes from June 3rd. Councilmember Comstock was absent. Special meeting from June 11th, I was absent. So we need a motion and a second for those items. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilman Flores. Please vote. And the item passes 3 yes with 2 abstentions. Next on the agenda is under public hearing. Prior to the vote of City Council, members of the public will have an opportunity to address the council on any public hearings. Item number 9, introduction of ordinance number 2025-003, zoning ordinance amendment to PL 25-0031. This item is a proposed amendment to Title 20, zoning, of the Chino Municipal Code consisting of modifications and additions to Chapter 20.06, Commercial Land Uses, Chapter 20.07, Industrial Land Uses, Chapter 20.23, Administration, and Chapter 20.24, the Glossary. I'd like to declare the public hearing and ask for a staff report from our City Planner, Andrea Gilbert, and Director of Development Services, Warren Marillion.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. The item before you tonight, PL 25-0031, is a request to amend several chapters of the Chino zoning code, including the commercial chapter, specifically the commercial land use table, the industrial chapter, which includes the industrial land use table, the administration chapter, as well as the glossary. The last zoning code update was approved by the City Council in April 2023. Typically, the Planning Division prepares an annual update to zoning to reflect changes in state law and update regulations that may be obsolete. Planning staff has been working with the Office of Economic Development on the current update to allow greater flexibility in commercial land uses, and a comprehensive update will follow the city's general plan adoption later this year. The proposed updates are designed to align with ever-changing economic trends with the objective of supporting business attraction, retention, and expansion citywide. The updates will also cultivate a more dynamic, business-friendly environment that promotes new business development, job creation, supports local entrepreneurship, and enhances overall economic vitality in the city. The zoning code generally defines uses as being permitted by right, administratively permitted, or conditionally permitted. The administrative process is reviewed by staff with approval granted by the Director of Development Services. The conditional use permit process follows a similar path of review. However, these applications are required to go to the Planning Commission for approval. The conditional use permit process can be both time-consuming and costly for prospective business owners looking to establish a business within the city of Chino. The proposed zoning code amendments aim to streamline the approval process for commercial uses that have become more common and do not necessitate that stricter approval process. Proposed changes would permit uses such as gyms and commercial recreation facilities by right instead of conditionally permit them in the more intensive commercial zones, while still requiring that administrative approval process in the less intensive zones. Other uses such as veterinary clinics and hotels would now be permitted by right if the zone ordinance amendment is approved in all commercial zones. Changes to the industrial land use matrix would allow vehicle sales, offices, and hotels in the industrial zoning districts. Included in the proposed zoning code changes is an update to the administrative chapter, specifically to section 20.23.100, which applies to variances. Variances are a tool that allow for minor deviations from zoning code standards when the strict application of the code would deprive development rights to a property that is possessed by other properties in that same zone and vicinity. Instances when this may occur typically would include an irregular shaped lot or the topography of the land, and typically applies to setbacks. Variances are currently classified as either a minor variance, which allows a deviation of no more than 25% from a measurable standard, or a major variance, which would apply to anything over 25%. Minor variances are approved by the Director of Development Services, while major variances require Planning Commission approval. The proposal would modify the minor variance deviation to 50% of the measurable standard, and any variance requested over 50% would still require Planning Commission approval. The proposed changes will create equal and consistent development opportunities throughout the city for people living on lots that may not possess the same development rights. A public notice for the zoning code amendment was published in the Chino Champion, and staff has received no comments to date. The proposed amendments are also exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, and the Planning Commission reviewed the proposed amendments on May 7th at their Planning Commission hearing and unanimously recommended approval to the City Council with no changes. This concludes my report tonight, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Andrea. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Any questions of staff or comments? Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second, please. We have a motion by Councilmember Comstock, second by Mayor Pro Tem Burton. City Attorney Galante.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The City Council has before it the following ordinance, which is being read by title only and waiving further reading. Ordinance number 2025-003, entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending selected provisions of the zoning code, Title 20 of the Municipal Code of the City of Chino, PL 25-0031, Zone Ordinance Amendment. That concludes the reading of the ordinance title. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please vote. The item passes unanimously. Item number 10, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG 2025-30 Consolidated Plan and 2025-26 One-Year Action Plan. Conduct a public hearing and approve the 2025-35 Year Consolidated Plan, which includes the 2025-26 One-Year Action Plan governing the use of the Community Development Block Grant funds. I'd like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from our Senior Management Analyst, Tracy Rossetti Smith, and our Director of Development Services, Warren Morillian.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Every 5 years, per HUD regulations, the city updates the 5-year consolidated plan, which guides the use of allocated CDBG funds. Projects recommended for funding must be aligned with the needs and priorities identified in this plan. In compliance with the city's Citizen Participation Plan, community meetings were held on February 10th and 20th. These meetings provided the opportunity for residents, nonprofit organizations, businesses, and the development community to come and give input on the priority needs in the preparation, to aid in the preparation of this plan. Included as part of the consolidated plan is the 25-26 One-Year Action Plan, which provides the funding recommendations as outlined by the Community Services Commission Subcommittee. These recommendations follow a comprehensive review of applicants' projects, as well as presentations that were made to the Commission in February. Exhibit 1 displays the 25-26 funding recommendations for public service projects, which accounts for 15% of the total allocation of 585-259, as well as administration at 20% and 65% for capital improvement. Public service projects recommended for funding based on the review and prioritization of the subcommittee include Chino Neighborhood House, food assistance, $11,558. Family Services Association, senior nutrition, $11,558. Inland Valley Hope Partners, food and shelter, $10,000. Human Services Family Counseling Program, $11,558. House of Ruth Domestic Violence Services, $11,557. Inland Fair Housing and Mediation Services, $11,558. Sunrise Church of California Food Distribution, $10,000. And Public Works Graffiti Abatement, $10,000. Exhibit 1 also includes the proposed reallocation of unexpended 23-24 funds in the amount of $81,101 to Capitol Street Improvement Project at Monte Vista Park, as well as estimated carryover funds in the amount of $525,715. This public hearing fulfills HUD's citizen participation requirements for the adoption of the 5-year consolidated and 1-year CDBG action plan. A 30-day public notice was conducted April 1st through May 1st. No comments have been received. Following adoption, the plans will be submitted to HUD for review and approval. Thank you. This concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tracy. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council comments? I have a question, Linda. Some of the carryover money is going to be able to be used for street improvements for Monte Vista Park. Can monies from CDBG also be used to create a parking lot on that vacant lot that we acquired?
I think it can if we designate it towards that, and I don't know what this Monte Vista Park project is. Is it the parking lot, or is it? It is the parking lot, right?
Yes, I believe for ADA accessibility.
ADA accessibility in the current parking lot. So yes, Mayor, future money could be used for that because it's within the CDBG zone. So if we want to allocate that in a future year, yes, we can, because we would like to get that additional parking lot built.
We do need parking there.
Yeah.
Definitely do, especially in the summertime. Okay, I'd like to just have you keep that in mind, please. Okay, with that, then we need a motion and a second, please, to approve item number 10. Motion from Council Member Flores, second from Council Member Comstock. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 11, adoption of Resolution 2025-030, annual adjustment of development impact fees, park development fees, and administration fees for fiscal year 25-26. This is to adopt the resolution authorizing the annual adjustment of these fees for 25-26. I'd like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from our Contracts and DIF Administrator Sylvia Ramos and our Director of Public Works, Hygen Lee.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. This evening, staff is recommending adjustments to the city's development impact fees, park development fees, and administrative fee for fiscal year 25-26. A development impact fee is a one-time charge imposed by local governments on new development to fund the public infrastructure and facilities needed to support that development. The city committed to a major effort to identify all capital needs through its general plan, build-out, and calculated a full schedule of DIF fees. The city established its first development impact fee program in 1989 and has since retained revenue cost specialists to prepare the initial and all subsequent DIF studies. In 2003 and 2004, the city adopted new nexus studies and master facility plans for both the citywide DIP program and the preserve in anticipation of significant growth following the preserve's annexation and the broader increase in development activity. A comprehensive update to the 2003 and 4 studies was completed in 2018, incorporating land use changes adopted with the 2010 General Plan Update. And in 2022, a targeted update to the preserve DIF was completed to ensure cost estimates were current, development potential was accurately reflected, and revenues and developer credits were appropriately reconciled. It should be noted a new comprehensive nexus study is currently underway. The city has engaged a new consultant, Wildan Group, which has extensive experience preparing development impact fee nexus studies for public agencies through California. As this new nexus study is expected to take 12 months to complete, staff recommends applying inflation-based fee adjustments in the interim consistent with the methodology outlined in Chapter 3.40 and 3.45 of the Chino Municipal Code until a new schedule of fees is brought to the City Council in the future for consideration. Pursuant to the Mitigation Fee Act, the city provided written notice of the proposed fee increases to all parties who had requested such notice at least 14 days prior to the public hearing. In addition, the city published notice of public hearing in accordance with legal requirements on June 7th and June 14th in the Chino Champion. Staff also met with the Building Industry Association to address concerns related to the 12% admin fee applied to development impact fees and the noticed 90% increase to the park development fee in the preserve. Additional details on these discussions will be provided in the presentation later. Development impact fees in both the preserve and citywide programs are subject to annual adjustments as authorized by the Chino Municipal Code. The current Nexus study identifies 3 recognized cost indexes for calculating pass-through increases: the Consumer Price Index, which is 3.1%, Construction Cost Index, which is 4.8%, and the Building Cost Index, which is 11.8%. Each respective fee category will receive a direct pass-through adjustment based on the most appropriate index for that category as shown in the slide. Chapter 18, moving on to the park development fees. Chapter 18 of the Chino's Municipal Code establishes the process for developing parkland values throughout the city, as well as the cost to construct public parks on a per acre basis. Epic Appraisals LLC completed appraisal estimates for 2024 for city-owned parkland and in the general city and also the preserve areas. The initial park fee calculation resulted in a 90% increase in the preserve. The fee would increase from $13,920 a unit to $26,464 based on the Title 18 calculation and new appraisal reports. During the 14-day public comment period, the BIA submitted concerns regarding the originally proposed 90% increase. They noted that such an increase would hinder new housing development. City's current cost per acre to construct a fully built and amenitized park exceeds the assumptions typically used by other cities to calculate the fees under the Mitigation Fee Act for conventional parks. Additionally, a regional comparison shows Chino's fees are generally aligned with the City of Ontario's, while Rancho Cucamonga and Fontana have lower fees. In response to the BIA's feedback, the city is now proposing a reduced interim increase of 11%, allowing time for staff to complete a comprehensive nexus update to include the park fees. This approach addresses near-term funding needs while ensuring future fees are regionally competitive and legally defensible. Additionally, as part of the recently completed user fee study, which is scheduled for presentation next, the city identified the allocation of both direct and indirect administrative overhead costs across development-related services. Since these costs are now captured within the updated user fees, the current 12% administrative surcharge on DIF collections is no longer justified. Staff recommends reducing the DIF admin fee from 12 to 3%, reflecting only those costs directly tied to the DIF program administration, such as staff time and consultant time. This is not a reduction in overall cost recovery, but a reallocation of overhead. moving it from the DIF to the appropriate development-related user fee where the cost actually occurs. This change responds to prior development feedback and reflects a fairer, more transparent cost structure. A more detailed review will follow in the upcoming Nexus study, which will evaluate the administrative fee comprehensively. Next slide. Okay. The proposed adjustments to the DIF park fee and the administrative fee for fiscal year 25-26 are necessary to preserve fiscal integrity and legal compliance of the city's development financing programs. These updates align with current infrastructure costs, land valuations, and actual administrative expenditures. By applying an interim park fee adjustment, reducing the administrative fee to reflect actual program costs, the city reinforces its commitment to transparency, equity, and responsible long-term planning. Therefore, it is staff's recommendation to the City Council to adopt Resolution 2025-030 to support continued investment in critical infrastructure while the comprehensive Nexus study and related master facility updates are underway. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on item number 11? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from council members? Councilman Burton.
I would like to thank the staff. I took a look at the report and looking at all of the other cities involved. It looks like we were well below in a couple of areas and a little bit higher in other areas. But I appreciate you being reasonable, rational, and responsible in lowering those fees to make those more equitable to what's going on. So thank you very much for making those adjustments. I think that was well done. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no more comments or questions, I'd like to entertain a motion in a second, please. Motion from Councilmember Lucio, second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. Item passes. Oops. You blocked me out.
I'll add your vote in.
Okay.
So 5-0.
All right. Item passes unanimously. Item number 12, comprehensive user fee study. This item is to conduct a public hearing and adopt resolution number 2025-029, updating user fees for city-provided services. I'd like to declare the public hearing open and ask for a staff report from our city manager, Linda Reich, also our director of finance, Kim Sell, and our Wildan consultant, Tony Thresher.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to start by saying that we are very pleased to present the user fee study to the council. It's been a long time since we've actually done a comprehensive study of our user fees, and our team has spent a lot of time on this. And I'm going to turn it over to Kim and our consultant to go through the process, the fees, and what the recommendation is tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Since I started in March, the user fee has already taken place, and I found out that this is the first time, or in a long time, that the user fee has been done. And so, in discussion with the other departments, we found that it was important to make sure that all those who will be impacted by this fee will be informed ahead of time. On April 23rd, we held a training session or introduction session of the user fee study. We provided this PowerPoint presentation, invited all the developers to attend, and we held that meeting in this chamber. After the session was held, representatives from BIA had further questions, and since then we had 4 more meetings with them to provide additional information and clarify any questions or concerns they had. I know that the fee will impact a lot of people. The result of the fee study, some of the fees that are non-developer related, such as those coming from the community service department, they have been included in the revenue projection. However, all other fees that will impact the revenue estimate for next year, those revenues were not included in the general fund revenue projection. I just wanted to let you know that. And now I will turn the time over to our consultant, Tony Thrasher. Tony is from Wildan Group, and he has been working with the city and staff back and forth for the last year to come up with the results of the study that he will be presenting tonight. Tony?
Great. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I am Tony Thrasher with Wildan Financial, the project manager for the fee study. So I'll just dive right in, right? Let's just start off with kind of what we're talking about, because the previous matter was impact fees, right? So these are user fees, operational cost provided services that are private benefit primarily, right? So when I talk about the different departments and their fees, I'll kind of point out what there's some perceived community benefit here or there, but by and large, when we're talking user fees, we're talking about private benefit services that are funded generally through the general fund, right? So most of the costs and effort that comes out of this impacts your general fund. Under state law, the fees must reasonably relate to the cost or estimated cost of providing service, right? And so it's been some time since the city has done a fee study. And so kind of the results and everything you've seen here, comparing the current fee to the full cost to the suggested fee, it is a reflection of all that. And we'll go through those individual departments further on in the presentation. Fees are adopted through City Council action in a public hearing. Any fees that affect development, there's a 60-day hold on when those can be put effective. So we'll talk about kind of the next steps towards the end of the presentation as well. This is a citywide fee study, so all departments are included within this, right? No one's exempt from this whole process. When we're kind of going through it and we're talking about the different departments, just keep in mind it's cross-departmental too. Just because the fee is shown within one department or another doesn't just mean that department's working on those fee services. City as a family, they all work together to kind of provide those services. And it's also important to note we don't include development impact fees, utility rates, taxes. These are purely operational cost provided services. So what's the purpose of the study? The primary purpose of the study is to identify what the full cost of service is. Because the cost of these services are within your general fund, any subsidies that you have impact your general fund, your unobligated dollars. So think of these fees as offsetting your usage of tax dollars for community benefits, right? So any subsidies you have in there can limit your ability to fund those. So put another way, any subsidies of private benefit offsets your ability to use for general benefit, public safety, community events, things of that nature, right? If you have sustained subsidies over a period of time and they become, too much, it can impact your service delivery because it impacts your ability to fully staff your departments and provide those services on a timely basis. Ultimately, it comes down to kind of 3 things, right? Identify what your cost of service is so that you can make the policy decisions that you want of where to set those fees and what subsidy levels you want to set them, and to maintain compliance with state law, that your fees are set based off the reasonable estimate of cost for each of your fees. So I mentioned primary goal of the study, determine the full cost of service. So that's where we start. We review the fee schedule with the departments, go through, identify any structural changes that need to be made to make sure that they reasonably relate to how service is being provided, adding new fees, removing obsolete fees, changing the fee structures themselves. And once the fee schedule is in a place that we're good to proceed, then we start collecting cost information primarily through time. What's a reasonable time it takes to provide these services on a single case basis? Once we identify the full cost, then we compare that to the current fee, identify where your current subsidies exist, and talk about cost recovery policies that are typical in most cities, and kind of go through that kind of process and identify those suggested fee amounts to bring here tonight, right? So again, those three things, right? Make sure that you know your costs are so you can make the policy decisions and maintain compliance with state law. That's kind of the theme of tonight, right? So since these are operational cost provided services, the data that we use is your operational costs through budget documents, org structures, staffing costs, indirect overhead or internal service overhead as well is factored in so we can get a full picture of the full cost of providing all services. We divide staff time by productive or billable hours to identify when they're on the job, able to provide services, taking out holidays, vacations, things like that, so they can be fully covered in those hours. And then we use time estimates from the subject matter experts, which is your staff, on what it takes to provide services for your city, right, as listed within your fee schedule. So it's important to note that at every step of the process, the way that we use data, make the calculations, and come to the results, it has to be a collaborative effort with your staff to make sure that they're there every step of the way and kind of making sure that the way that we use data, the way that we do the calculations is reasonable. Here's a graph to just kind of represent summary steps of the process itself, right? So we start off with the model development so we can calculate the overheads as well as the fully burdened hourly rates for all city staff. And then we meet with the departments to go over the fee schedules to update those so that we can then collect time data on the updated fee schedules and calculate full cost of service. We compare that to the current fee to identify what current subsidies exist and talk about setting suggested fees for your consideration. We create the report around that. Now, the ultimate end goal is to come before you in a public hearing for consideration of an updated fee schedule. As Kim mentioned, there's been a lot of interaction with the public and the building community to ensure that there's full disclosure. We walk through all that sort of thing. We've actually provided all the raw calculations that are within the study, the time data, as well as the fully burdened hourly rate calculations that go into that full cost calculation above and beyond what's required by that state law. So to kind of get here tonight so that we can make sure that the public's fully aware of exactly what goes into all that. And here's an example of those cost calculations. So the fully burdened hourly rates is the basis of cost for most services in the study. It includes salaries and benefits, services, supplies, indirect or support costs as well, divided by productive hours to get to a fully burdened hourly rate that is then multiplied by the amount of time it takes to provide each and every service to get to a full cost calculation. I mentioned cross-departmental. So when we're talking about, say, a planning fee, it doesn't just mean planning's working on it. You got planning, you got building, engineering, fire, you got a ton of different departments that are incorporated within the fee if they are directly or indirectly involved. If they're indirectly involved, it's part of the overhead. But if they're directly involved and need to spend time on an exact service, then they are included within the time data that's existing in there, as well as any contract costs that might be involved too. Now, I'm going to go into the individual departments. I want to note every city has hundreds of fees, right? So this is meant to be kind of a summary of the recommendations and results that came out of the study. And so I'll kind of go through them. You're going to hear a lot of similar language. But so for administration, primarily duplication and appeal-related fees. It was a time-based cost analysis that found that appeal fees are being heavily subsidized, which is typical and would still remain. But the suggested fee notes are a $3 increase to the administrative decision appeal, and then all other 13 fees will remain as currently set. For finance, it was a time-based cost analysis that found that current services are below the cost of providing them. So there's a suggested increase to 20 fees. 3 fees remain as currently set, and the average fee increase would be 15%. For business license, same story, time-based cost analysis that found the current fees are mostly below the full cost of providing services. So the suggestion is an increase to 15 fees. 3 fees would decrease, 4 fees remain as currently set, and the average fee change would be an increase of 9%. Now, for community service, this is where I talk about a little differently, right? So for community services, their fees fall under a different classification of an exemption under Prop 26. A lot of the fees are for facility rentals, recreation programs, and should be set based off policy, usage factors, market factors, right? So when we look at those fees, we do a cost analysis to ensure that, you know, the fees are and revenues are under full cost recovery. But I've never worked with a city that does recover 100% of the full cost. So when we come into this, it is mostly making sure that we do that analysis, and then any fee changes or suggestions are based off staff recommendations to right size or normalize fees if they haven't been changed in a while, right? So the department's currently operating at around 64% cost recovery. There are individual targeted cost recovery that's detailed within the report for each of those fees, and there's a suggested increase to 100 fees. 10 new fees would be added, and the rest of the fees remain as currently set. But again, revenue production or cost recovery was not the primary goal of that. It is to right-size those fees, make sure that they are reasonable. For police, it was a time-based cost analysis that found that fees are mostly set below the full cost of providing them. So there is a suggested increase to 11 fees, a decrease to 2 fees. The tow service fees, there's 5 of them, would be set at the contract rate so that they can be in line with whatever the contract states at that any given point in time. So you get full cost recovery that is listed within there. And 19 fees remain at their current amounts, and the average fee change would be an increase of 11%. And for planning fees, it was also a time-based cost analysis, and there's 2 findings. These haven't been updated in a very long time. And I don't quite know exactly what went into the previous calculations. So we did find that current fees are below full cost recovery, and they didn't include the cross-departmental support. So all that kind of goes into that. And so there's a suggested increase to 59 of those fees with a decrease to 1 fee, and 11 new fees would be added. 7 fees remain as currently set, and the average fee increase would be 40% for those fees. For building, there's 2 parts to their schedule. One is the flat fees, which use time-based calculation for those that found that they were below the full cost recovery. So there's an increase recommended for 11 of those fees. There is a decrease recommended for the residential solar permit fee to be in line with the government code that restricts the limit on those. And then the 7 other fees, as well as the MEP schedules, remain as currently set. Now, the other part is the building permit program. It uses valuation as a basis to determine the amount of level of effort that staff spends in providing service. And for that one, we determined the cost recovery for the program is operating at 97% cost recovery. So the recommendation is just to increase that by 3% to get to full cost recovery. So small increase there. For engineering, time-based analysis found the current fees are below the cost of providing services, and we're not including cross-departmental support on providing services. So there's an increase suggested to 57 fees. 10 fees would decrease. 11 fees remain unchanged. The 7 grading plan check fees would change in their methodology. Instead of being based off acreage, they would be based off of per sheet to better reflect how service is being provided. And 9 new fees would be added for an average fee change of 40%. And that's the list of all the departments and summary of that, right? So just to circle back, right? General fund provided services, private benefit services. So the general standard is if there is a private benefit being conveyed, that 100% of the full cost gets collected so that you are not, having to limit the amount of general benefit activities that you can spend on your general tax dollars, right? Suggested fees were compared to your neighbors and found to be comparable. Talking about suggested fees, not the current fees. Current fees are well below your neighbors, but the suggested fees were found to be comparable to your neighbors. So kind of keep in line, but it's been decades since you last updated these, so there's a jump in there, right? Now, the effective date of the fees would be different depending on what type of fee it is. So it would be July 1st for non-development related fees and August 18th for any fees that affect development, because there's that 60-day hold on when they can be effective. And then there's a recommendation starting on July 1st of each year to adjust fees based off of the February to February CPI Consumer Price Index. So you kind of keep up with your fees and costs over the years and not have to have these jumps, right? And then to have a comprehensive analysis every 5 years instead of maybe 20 years, right? And I'm here to answer any questions as well as staff for the departments. Disclosure. Willand Financial Services also provides municipal advisor services, but I am not here in that capacity in any way, shape, or form. So small text, but I don't know. Thank you for your time.
Okay, we do have one written request to speak. Anna Gromas.
Before we do that, I would like to add a little note on the CPI adjustment. There will be a correction that will be made by the city attorney in the resolution. It currently reads that the adjustment will take effect on February 1st of each year. That will be corrected to read July 1st of each year using the February CPI. And also, I wanted to note that today we have met with representatives from BIA, And one of the requests that they wanted me to pass on to the city council was that they're requesting a phase-in of all user fee increases if the city council approves. That means 50% phase-in at the time of implementation on August 18, and the other 50% to be effective on June 2026. My comment on this is that, like Tony said, our objective is to recover our fees of doing business. The information, the data that we use to calculate the fee is the fiscal year 24-25 midterm budget. So these fees, if it becomes effective, will be for next year. So as you know, next year's budget, the cost will go higher than the current year budget. So already we're 1 year behind in just by using the current year alone. So from a financial standpoint, I would recommend that staff recommends that the city council approves the full cost recovery of these user fees. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Anna?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Anna Grom is here representing the Building Industry Association, specifically the San Bernardino County chapter. I want to start by saying we do appreciate the dialogue. We've had many conversations, lots of emails, and it does not go unnoticed. So we thank you for the open conversation that you've had with our industry. I'm here before you because we still have 3 concerns that we want you all to consider before you vote on this agenda item this evening. The building community acknowledges and understands the city's need to update fees, protect the general fund, and improve cost recovery. However, we would like you to consider the following 3 matters before taking action. The first being that 22 of the fees that are proposed for increase are increasing by over 100%, which means that these fees are now more than doubling. Some of the fees are even increasing by higher amounts, some up to 400%. None of our members have budgeted for 500% increases on their projects that are currently in progress. We ask that you either place a cap on these increases or phase in these increases over the next year. We hope that you are agreeable to an effective date of August 18th and then an increase again 6 months from that date, or the next fiscal year, whichever is more convenient for city staff. Our second concern is with the valuation table for plan check. We believe that this is flawed and it needs to be updated so that it scales for projects past $1 million. The base rates are acceptable, but the city should modify the per 1,000 of project valuation to ensure that $2, $3, $5, and $10 million projects are not penalized by the suggested fees. We ask that you direct staff to modify the table between now and the August 18th effective date to ensure that larger projects are not penalized by an outdated table that stops at $1,001,001. The BIA membership feels this step will provide clarity on larger multi-million-dollar projects and will protect the city from any legal challenges to the fees on very large projects. Lastly, staff made it clear today that submissions prior to the effective date of new fees would be charged the old rates. We ask that your motion related to the fee changes include consideration of in-progress projects. What this means is that any submission prior to the August 18th date would still get charged using the old fee structure and rates. In closing, we ask for the following considerations. The first being a cap on large increases or phasing of the fee increases, modification of the valuation table to consider projects over $1 million, and projects in progress should still be subject to the old fee structure. We respectfully request a 30-day delay to continue these conversations so that we can get better clarity on the 3 items that we brought up this evening. But again, we just want to thank you, the city, the staff, for the open dialogue, the collaboration, and we hope that we can continue to partner with you all. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Burton?
Kim, you had mentioned that it's been a while since we've updated these user fees. Do we know exactly when the last time these were updated?
From discussion with our staff, the last time it was done in the 1980s.
Okay, so that's quite a long time ago. And when we went out and we determined what these new fees would be, did we do a comparison with all of the other cities in our area at that time?
Yes, we have. And that was the comparisons are included in the book that was provided. If you look at the book, it's on page 23 of the user fee study.
Okay. So really, when we think about builders and developers and paying these fees in other communities, they're used to paying these higher fees, and when they come to Chino, they've been given basically just gratis on a lot of things that they didn't have to pay in other communities. Isn't that correct?
It appears to be so.
Okay. Well, I think it's definitely reasonable when we talk about 400% increases, especially if we haven't had any increases since the 1980s, that we would raise them to that level. So thank you very much.
I just wanted to clarify that the comment regarding the 1980s is that we have not had a formal study by a consultant, but over the years, staff has done incremental increases, by our staff, but those incremental increases are not always approved, and sometimes the costs used did not incorporate all the overheads that the study has incorporated at this time.
Thank you.
Linda, you had a comment?
I was going to say that, Mayor.
Okay. Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm very familiar with user fees from my work, and I agree with the comments that Councilmember Burton made. There's been a long time since we've actually examined these and looked at them, and this is the problem when we just not do it in a nuanced manner. It was a part of us looking at these and trying to, basically each director, each department trying to take what I would call an educated calculation or guess at it. And it is helpful when we have somebody come in and analyze this for us and check our own work and compare it to our neighbors. So I happen to be in agreement with the comments from Councilmember Burton in that it would be like saying, hey, if we had a homicide increase of 100%, in Chino we may have went from 1 to 2 homicides. So although I will say some of the fees that have increased for development are high. It seems like a lot of money. But then on the flip side, when you start talking about the cost that was pointed out, I also think that larger developments are more impactful and require more time and effort, so there are fees associated with that, which I think are responsible. The one thing I would like to ask the council to discuss, if they would, is to give consideration to is the request for the in-process fees. I understand her point on that, and maybe a part of a conversation. Listen, our previous staff report, very rarely do you see a council pass a report that says we're going to reduce fees, right? And we have reduced some fees here, but we're also increasing some. So I guess what I'm asking is, do we want to, in this particular case, look at anything that's already been submitted and allow for them to pay the current fee before this goes into effect? Is my question.
And if I may, Mayor and Council, just for clarification, is the thought process that if an applicant has actually submitted an application, is undergoing the entitlement process, would not be subjected to the fees? I'm trying to figure out what timeline.
Well, I think that was her request, unless I'm wrong. But here's the problem: they've got it in there, and just the lack of timing, right? I mean, sometimes it's hard for us to get that stuff turned around quickly enough for them. They probably would have wanted for all this to be done already before these fees changed. I guess to staff is how many projects will we be talking about that way? Do we have an estimation? Is it 10 or is it 1,000? I'm not exactly sure that it matters, but what are we looking at?
Members, council. So I think the issue is for the plan check process. So the way it works in the entitlement, when they come in, they pay already. So there's no need to retro a pay on the entitlement because
Okay.
they pay up front. During the plan check process, that's when they submit plans, they pay for the plan check, and they don't get the building permit fee till the very end, or they don't get charged for it till the very end. So what they're asking for is, once they have a project in, maybe staff can go ahead and calculate it, have them pay that fee, because even if the plan check takes longer past the 60 days, they still are in, and they're going through the plan check. They just don't want to be penalized by finishing right after the fee goes into effect. So that's the issue, I think. So they want to make sure, entitlement's not a problem, it's the plan check fee process. And I think in a staff level, we'd be okay with working with them if we can, subject to council approval.
Thank you, Warren.
I also think that's reasonable. You know, if they've already submitted for it ahead of time like this, I would agree that is a reasonable request, and I would say yes to that.
Well, obviously, they have things that are budgeted, and they've already figured that
Exactly.
out, so.
Yeah, that's.
Is there any objection? Okay.
So perhaps just to sort of close the loop and make sure there's clarity, if an applicant has, a member of the public has submitted an application for development, they are able to prepay, for example, that building permit fee before the increase would become effective? Is that the suggestion I'm seeing? Okay, yes. Okay, so
It's already been
that would be
submitted.
an opportunity. Obviously, after the fee comes into place, if an applicant doesn't want to take advantage of prepaying that fee, then presumably the council would be okay imposing the updated fee.
If they prepaid it, I think it's fair because like the mayor said, they budget for it, but if they haven't, then the fee can be imposed.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the public that wants to address the council on this item? Okay, then we've got that taken care of. Public hearing is closed. Any other council discussion? Mark, you had something.
Yeah, can you give me an example of which user fee is going up 400%?
It's on the table. That doesn't show presentation.
Can you find one? Because I can find one that's 388, 388%, a special conditional use permit, residential owner occupied.
What page is that?
Well, I just have a chart
Oh,
of the
okay.
higher ones. It's not on a page.
There's a lot of charts in this packet.
Maybe we can reopen the hearing, Mayor, and ask the applicant which one is she's referring to.
Fred, is that okay? Can I do that?
Yes, it's your
Okay, we'll
call.
reopen the public hearing. Do you recall which fee that was?
I do. So this is the chart that was, I apologize, this is the chart that was
Oh, we can't
shared
see
with us by staff. So there are several. There's one 843%, which is the simple inspection traffic control fee. There is 443% is the right-of-way encroachment permit for a minor encroachment. 381% for the special conditional use permit. 395 for the master site approval review. Happy to go through more of them if you'd like, but that was the chart that was provided. Thanks for
Do you
the
have the amount?
Yes.
From what amount to what amount?
So
Or
the
just-
chart does not have the dollar
Just the
signs
percent.
associated with it, just the percentages.
So are you referring to the fee change column at the right? on the table in the
Correct.
report?
Correct.
That's dollars.
The percentages?
I'm not
Chart?
familiar with that chart. That's not from our report.
Okay, we can.
Yeah.
We can
so the-
sidebar. I'd love to
the
sidebar on that
consult-
because
yeah,
that's
just
a
so
great
the
question.
consultant report shows the fee change in dollars, comparing the suggested fee to the current fee, right? So, for instance, the right-of-way encroachment, number 37 under Public Works Engineering goes from 185 to 480, which is a $295 increase.
Are you able to point the council to a page on the agenda?
Oh, it's page 54. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, 54 of the report.
Yeah, and I think to the point, some of them do sound egregious and some of the things were expensive, but when you look at it in its total sum, it was a $295 increase.
Yeah, and also keep in mind that the code has changed quite a bit from the 80s, right? What's involved, what's required, what departments are involved in any step in the process, how much time is needed in order to do that. And so over the past 30 years, right, a lot has changed. So if we're talking about a $185 fee, that is not really seen anymore in any capacity of a public works fee. That's quite low, unless it's just a simple hourly rate.
From what to what?
Okay, thank you for the clarification. That
Yeah,
sounds a little bit more
sometimes the percentage reflects, an astronomical increase, but when you look at the dollar amount, it's less than.
I think that was my point in stating the percentages versus the actual amount.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to ask the applicant which fee she was specifically referring to. So,
I don't have any more questions.
Okay. Chris, do you have any questions?
I don't believe you've closed the public hearing yet.
Okay, I'll reclose the public hearing then. Any other questions from staff or comments? Okay, we do have a note change to the,
The resolution, Mayor.
just lost my own note. Oh, gosh, what is this thing? Too many papers.
It's
Okay, we
the-
do have a modification to the resolution, date changes, so that will become part of the record on item number 12. Okay, the staff recommendation is to adopt the new and changed city fees for the services per the comprehensive user fee study report. Is there a motion and a second?
do we need to include the recommendation that we gave to staff in it, Mayor, as well?
Yes, that should be clarified in the motion.
And the modification to the resolution.
The resolution, and if they've got their application in.
If the application is already in, then it's locked to the current fees.
As long as they prepay,
Yeah,
giving them an
prepay.
opportunity to
Prepay,
prepay
yeah,
it before it
prepay.
becomes effective.
Yes. Okay, there's a motion from council members Comstock, second from Mayor Pro Tem Burton. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 13 under new business, fiscal year 25-26 budget adoption. This is to approve the 25-26 proposed budget and appropriations limit for fiscal year 25-26 and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city. Staff report this evening will be provided by our Director of Finance, Kim Sau.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is a continuation of our budget workshop that was held on May 22nd, 2025. During that budget workshop, staff provided a basic understanding of the budget. We also did an overview of the general fund and other funds, position changes. Also, it was followed by a department presentation of their budget, and then a wrap-up. Since the budget workshop was held, we have made more changes. Some of them are from feedback from the City Council. Some of them are just minor corrections, and some of them are from appropriation that were approved by the City Council in other agenda items. Some of them will be presented to the City Council tonight for those appropriation. We included all those appropriation requests into this final proposed budget for the City Council's consideration tonight. This is an overview of the total budget, citywide budget that was presented to the City Council on May 22nd. As you could see, just a highlight on the general fund. At that time, the general fund ended with $8.2 million. And those numbers will change tonight. On the attachment A is a summary of all the changes that were made since the budget workshop. However, for purpose of this presentation, I will just highlight a few of them. But before I go through those 3 bullet points, one of the ones I did not include was an adjustment to the general fund revenue estimate. In the agenda item 11 that was presented by Public Works tonight regarding the DIF fee, that changed the rate from 12% to 3%. That change impacted the general fund revenue estimate by $3 million. So we are reducing the general fund revenue by $3 million. So as you could see, the $8.2 million surplus will be reduced further by $3 million. In this screen here, you will see the Civic Center paint project. This was something that the City Council requested. We got a preliminary estimate of $2.5 million to paint the City Hall facility. We are including $50,000 in the proposed budget so that we have more time to do further research on this project. However, to ensure that we do have funding, we will set aside $2.45 million in the fiscal year 24-25 fund balance. So when we close this fiscal year, we will set aside that much money so that when the project is ready to move forward, we will have enough fund to appropriate at that time. Next one is the Preserve Teen Center programming. We're adding $168,000. Part of that is for staffing and supplies, which totals $78,000, and the cost of the van for $90,000. And lastly, the West End Regional Navigation Center, we added $200,000 more, and this will be paid for by the Affordable Housing Fund. And all other changes are in attachment A. They will be included in the final proposed budget. This is a snapshot again of the revised transfers in and out. During the budget, there is movement of money between funds. And in this snapshot, as you could see, general fund is transferring out close to $28 million. So in addition to the operating budget, there's also a $28 million transfer out from the general fund. So this money goes out to the other various funds. As you can see, it's going into the special revenue funds. That $51 million includes a lot of that transfer out from the general fund. This community services department budget is included in the special revenue funds. So the money is going there to subsidize what the community services cannot pay just from their fees alone. And also it's funding the lighting district in their operations as well. So transfers in and out usually equal each other because they're just money coming in and out of each fund. but there is no, as you can see, there's an effect to each fund, but no bottom line effect overall. This screen is just to highlight the importance of Measure V that was approved last year. As you could see, in this general fund proposed budget, we have total sources of $132,000. 24.5 million of that comes from general fund. And expenditure total uses represent total 128,000. So the difference between the total sources and uses results in a $4.5 million surplus. So if we were to show a different picture, taking the $24.5 million out of the picture, you could see the impact of how important Measure V is. We would have had a $20 million deficit instead. Again, I showed this during the budget workshop, but it's important to highlight it again. This is a 10-year history of the sales tax. And you can see the jump from 36 million to 60 million in the current year, 24-25, due to the infusion of Measure V revenues. So I know that when we approved the Measure V, that the city has promised that some of the money will be used towards initiatives that the city council had requested. And so in this summary, we show that we're spending about $16 million of the Measure V money toward those items. On the first one, we have personnel retention, $4.1 million. A lot of those are to pay for the class and comp that was done last year that had a large increase to salaries and benefits, and also to addition of new positions. And also there were deferred maintenance that we are now trying to include in next year's budget. For non-capital projects, $2.1 million. That includes a big portion of the ARC and what was the other one? The forest management plan of about $200,000. And for capital projects, the $8.6 million includes a lot of projects that is too much for me to list. But we could provide a detail if the city council wishes to see what makes up the $8.6 million. Okay, so in summary, so 67% of the $24 million is being spent on Measure V investments. This is the screenshot that I showed also at the budget workshop, but we left out one line item at the bottom. It's highlighted in red. And this is the retitling of management analyst to permit center coordinator. And this is just a retitle and has no fiscal impact. So at the end of each fiscal year, there are projects that are not completed by June 30, and those represent, those are what we call continuing appropriation. Instead of budgeting it again, we normally just carry over the budget. As you know, most of the budget for operations lapse at June 30, except for projects. There are CIP projects or large projects that continue from year to year. And at June 30, we estimated that 87 million of the budget that has previously been approved by the City Council. Those projects will not complete at the end of June, and so we will carry forward to next year. So as you can see, 87 million, these money, if it's not spent by June, the money goes back into the bucket, into the fund balance. So when we carry these forward, it's actually funding, they're being funded from the fund balance instead of the current year of operating revenue. This is a final snapshot of the proposed budget, which includes all the adjustments. The citywide total revenues is 325 million. Total expenditures of 266 million. Total capital projects 8.9 million. Total transfers in and out 61.8 million. And looking at the general fund, the revised surplus is now 4.5 million due to the reduction of the $3 million adjustment in the DIF revenue. And also, we are including the successor agency, which is something that we include in the budget year to year, and is for the winding down of the former redevelopment agency. In summary, at the end of the year, we estimated that for this year, the year will end with a $37.7 million in ending fund balance, plus the $4.5 million next year, which will result in a $42 million at the end of June 30, 2026. As part of the budget process, we also asked the City Council to adopt the GAN limit. So the city is required to adopt an appropriations limit in accordance with the GAN limit to ensure that government spending remains within the constitutional limits. For fiscal year 25-26, the appropriations limit is, this is a big number, $3.8 billion, meaning that the city cannot allocate tax revenues beyond this threshold. I think we're far from that. The total tax revenue subject to the limit for this fiscal year is $116 million. So that means the city is well under the limit of $3.7 billion. So this difference represents the maximum amount of tax revenue the city could legally appropriate if additional revenue were available. And so by adopting this limit, we ensure that we are in compliance with the state fiscal constraints, and we want to show this as part of our accountability and transparency. Oh, and on exhibit or attachment A that was included in the website, we have since revised the attachment A to reflect it, to add additional changes, but those changes have been included in the summary that I have just presented, and we have provided the City Council with the revised attachment A. So this is our recommendation, is for the City Council to adopt the resolution approving the fiscal year 25-26 proposed budget, and also the resolution to approve the appropriations limit for 25-26, and also authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city. And this concludes my presentation, and would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on item number 13? Okay, seeing none, I'll turn it over to council comments. Chris, any comments?
No comments.
Mark? Kurt?
No.
Karen? No, ma'am. I have a comment, of course. Measure V. we promised the citizens that we would have full accountability of the income and the expenditures. And the accountability that we are reflecting is a very, very high level, which I personally am not happy with. So I would like those numbers to be expanded to show the detail and what we're doing with Measure V money. And then I have a question. There was $8 million carryover, I guess, that's not proposed to be expended. What are we doing with the $8 million? If you can go back to that chart, you'll see it. Okay. So we are making $24 million. The investments are $16 million. So there's $8 million that's not accounted for next year, next fiscal year. Is that going to be rolled over to the next fiscal year? Or is it being earmarked for future capital projects? See, this chart to me does not show full disclosure on what we're going to do with Measure V money. Okay?
So
I understand personnel retention, that went towards salary adjustments and things like that. That's a little bit, I think, more difficult to get into the details. But deferred maintenance, you can certainly define that. Staff augmentation, not sure. Non-capital projects, capital projects, all that can be expanded to show what we're reflecting, where it's going to go. But what about the balance?
Yes, I agree. So as I had mentioned earlier, I do have details of this summary, and we can provide it to the City Council. We're also working with the administration department to provide a transparency portal on the city website that will show how much we have been spending on Measure V investments. And I believe I'm not sure when we will put that up, but we will gather pictures of the items that we are expending on. We will expand these in detail so that the public can view them. And regarding the balance of the $8 million, so this total number is part of the general fund revenue estimate. So as I had highlighted earlier, without the $2.24 million, the budget will be in deficit of $20 million.
I understand.
So
you need to show where the rest of that money is going to go. I know it's part of the general fund. I get that. But again, we promised the public full accountability for the $24 million. And that one chart does not give full accountability. I get it.
So we have projects of $933,000. And there are projects that are underway that we are appropriating $4.9 million and an additional $2.9 million for projects that are underway. So we have a list of what makes up the $8.6 million that's remaining.
Then I would like that. I would like that shown so that we know it and so the public knows it, okay?
That's good.
So Mayor, I have a comment on that.
Yes.
And
Well,
I
Mark
think-
asked first.
Yeah, I think we should put it on our city website exactly what projects we're paying for out of Measure V. I think it would also be important that if there's a project that we're doing out there in the community, that you put some signage up there that says paid for by Measure V's for the community that doesn't log on to our website can also see it, and they can see where their tax money is being spent. I think that's really what we promised them. So, I think to what the mayor is saying, when you say we have $8.6 million in capital projects, the general public doesn't know what those $8.6 million are, and I think it's important for them to know exactly what's getting improved, because we told them there was a lot of deferred maintenance that we had, a lot of roads that needed to be reconstructed, and I think it's important to tell them exactly what roads we're fixing, what playgrounds we're fixing, and what improvements we're making.
So to those comments, I actually shared with the city manager that with the capital improvement portal that we have, that we just launched, how you can track it. I thought it would be nice to have that somehow, with the Measure V money, be able to reflect those projects and how they're connected. And I'm sure there's a way through a portal now that, to the mayor's point, we can break out deferred maintenance, capital improvement projects, and have them listed and appropriately represent each other, hopefully through, I'm not positive it's possible, but somehow that they correlate and the public can see that through the portal. So.
I just want to add that, yes, we will be doing that, and we'll take these comments and we'll add it. One other thing that we're doing is we're not only going to notice our Measure V projects. We'll say we have a sign, we've created a logo, brought to you by Measure V. We're also going to do brought to you by Measure I, so that people understand that that's also funding that's coming from their gas tax. Correct, Mayor? Their gas tax. Because a lot of people don't understand where we get that funding. So September of 25, I know we don't usually give you a date, but that's our target, to have all of this information up on the website. We'll have our budget up there, our ACFR up there, and then we will also have our information for Measure V. Okay. And we will break it all out by project. So we're doing Walnut Park, we already did Ayala Park, and some of the other projects we already completed or are in process of. We'll list all the parks brought to you by Measure V, all the things we've got in the current budget, which I know it's a big list, but I know we're doing several parks coming up. We've got the HVAC systems and a lot of things that are going to be brought to you by Measure V.
Now, I also wanted to clarify something, because I know it says to paint the Civic Center, but then we said City Hall. So the $2.5 million is not just to paint this one building, correct? It's to paint all the Civic Center.
That's correct.
Okay.
And probably the comprehensive repairs that need to be conducted too.
Well, yeah, we'll have to do all the stucco repair and different repair and then paint the buildings.
Well, I just think, the public was so good in trusting us and passing Measure V, where other communities haven't been as fortunate, to have the trust of their constituency. And we promised them full disclosure. And I want to make sure that we've followed through with what we promised. It's very important.
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, then with that, I would ask for a motion and a second for item number 13. Motion from Councilmember Comstock, second from Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 14, award of contract, citywide janitorial services. This is to award a professional services contract with CCS Facilities Services from Orange County, Costa Mesa, California, for citywide janitorial services in the amount of $580,753.06, with 4 additional one-year options to renew. Staff report this evening provided by Parks and Facilities Manager Jeff Benson and our Director of CSPR, Sylvia Avalos.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. Before you this evening, we have the award of a new janitorial contract to CCS Facility Services of Costa Mesa for the 25-26 fiscal year. For the past 5 years, CCS Facility Services has provided citywide janitorial services. The existing contract expires on June 30th of 2025, and CCS has maintained a consistent and a satisfactory level of cleanliness and service. The proposed new contract maintains existing services such as office, restroom, and common area cleaning, along with several new items added to the scope of work, including monthly deep cleaning of the senior center's commercial kitchen, additional day porter services at City Hall, and janitorial coverage for the former Chaffey College Bank building. Staff worked with the Finance Procurement Division to pursue a piggyback agreement, also known as a cooperative procurement agreement, using a recent competitive bid process for janitorial services done by the city of Rancho Cucamonga, which CCS was awarded. The same pricing and terms will apply. Sufficient funding is available in the fiscal year 25-26 custodial maintenance budget. Staff recommends to award a professional services agreement contract to CCS Facility Services, Orange County, Inc., Costa Mesa, California, for citywide janitorial services in the amount of $580,753.06, with 4 additional year options to renew, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents on behalf of the city. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Jeff. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on item number 14? Seeing none, council comments, questions? Would entertain a motion in a second then. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 15, amendment number 5 to professional services agreement with Kaplan Kirsch LLC for legal services. Approve amendment number 5 to the professional services agreement for legal services with Kaplan Kirsch LLC in the amount of $220,000. Staff report this evening provided by our Associate Engineer Natalie Avila and our Director of Public Works, Hygen Lee.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, and members of the audience. Tonight, I will bring to you an overview, historical timeline of how we arrived here today, funding sources, and next step for these legal service tasks. The Public Works Department is responsible for maintaining the city's groundwater well number 11, located west of San Antonio Avenue and south of State Route 60. This well has been inactive since 2018 due to the presence of 123 TCP exceeding the maximum contaminant level in the groundwater produced by the well. As a part of the effort to bring back the well back into production, the city completed 2 projects: the Eastside Water Treatment Facility expansion and Well 11 raw water transmission line projects, which were both completed by 2023. During the phase of the design, the city had discussions with the regulatory agency responsible for public water systems, the California State Water Resources Control Board Division of Drinking Water, otherwise known as DDW, at which time the city was advised to test the groundwater from well number 11 for trichloroethylene, which is also known as TCE, due to the concerns of a TCE contaminant plume that may have reached the well. Beginning in 2022, the city retained legal services from Kaplan Kirsch through formal procurement to identify potential remedies and initiate communication with General Electric Corporation, which was the responsible party for the TCE plume. The recent action by council just made earlier this evening to adopt the budget for the water services program includes the $220,000 for Kaplan Kirsch that Kim had mentioned to complete the additional legal services for the potential to recover these ongoing maintenance costs due to the plume. The total breakdown of legal services for this item is shown on the table and will result in a not-to-exceed contract amount of $310,000. Currently, Kaplan Kirsch LLC is working on behalf of the city to have continued communications with DDW and GE. Amendment number 5 is proposed to extend services for 2 years and requires this action to amend their contract. Therefore, the city asks council's approval for this amendment number 5 to the professional services agreement with Kaplan Kirsch in the amount of the $220,000, bringing the total not to exceed contract amount to $310,000 for these continued legal services. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on item number 15?
Natalie, I have a question. The GE plume, the GE facility, the Flatiron facility, I think it was in Ontario.
Correct.
That had that contamination. Wasn't that way up near Mission and Euclid?
That's correct, Mayor. It is a couple miles away from the actual well, but it has migrated. The State Water Board is knowledgeable about this. They've required GE to have an implementation plan for cleanup. And so over the past, I believe, nearly 30 years, they've been implementing portions to remedy the plume. And unfortunately, it has continued to migrate, not at the rate it would have if nothing was done, but nevertheless, it has migrated and affected the well. And we had discovered that, like I mentioned, in 2019 or so, or 2020, when we were having those discussions to try to bring back the well into service.
Interesting, because they have a treatment center and they have an injection well, right?
Yes, correct.
So they still haven't gotten it cleaned up?
It is still not cleaned.
That's amazing, because that's been ongoing for a long time.
Yes.
Wow. So now, is GE going to be required to fix our well?
Well, these are the communications that we've been having. Kaplan Kirsch has been instrumental in having that rapport with them and working alongside with their legal services to come to a settlement. But right now, they've had open discussion and dialogue to help us get through our DDW permitting. Most importantly, they have a proprietary model. We've investigated having to do the model ourselves, and it's quite expensive. So we've partnered with GE. DDW was supportive of that level of effort, as well as the cleanup program from the State Water Board as well. So we've been in communication with various divisions of the Water Board and DDW, with GE, and Kaplan Kirsch has been that instrument to convey the information. And we are looking for some settlement, of course, and that's why we've retained their services initially to help us with those ongoing maintenance costs.
Well, I would hope it wouldn't be a one-time settlement. I would hope that whatever's being negotiated would be an ongoing treatment.
It is, we've worked out an incremental cost, what we believe those maintenance impacts would be. So we've calculated those using our design team who built the treatment, who designed the treatment plant at Eastside. So we've generated a service life, if you will, of what we could expect to help us with those ongoing costs.
Well, if they've treated this for 30 years and it's still migrating, I would say that that needs to be a very long-term agreement.
It is, yes.
Okay, great. Mayor Pro Tem?
So can you remind me, how long has this been shut down, this well, now?
Since 2018.
What kind of an impact has that had on our community?
Well, that's a great question. Initially, the city suffered some low pressures within that area because originally the well was capable of feeding right into our distribution system, so it helped bring about pretty adequate pressures. Once the well was turned off, I understand that there were some concerns that were brought to the city's attention with low pressures. We've done some improvements to help alleviate some of the pressures in that area, and they are better, but they haven't returned to the level that they were prior. But yeah, there's been concerns that have been raised regarding just having that well turned off for that reason.
So all of those efforts that have been put into bringing that pressure back up on our end, can we go back and recover the costs as part of what's going on now with the legal system, legal fees?
Yes, that's a great question, and I will look into that to make sure that we've also considered those additional levels of efforts to bring the well back.
And just to confirm, they have no timeline at this point as to when they're going to be able to clean up that plume so that we can get that well up and running again?
I'm not familiar with what might be in their implementation plan, if it identifies a duration when the cleanup is anticipated to be completed by, but I can certainly follow up and provide you that information.
I could add to that a little bit. Once the plume have spread underground, it's very, very difficult to contain it back in. So only way to treat the water that has been spread beyond their sphere of influence, sphere of treatment, is whoever is pumping downstream have to treat it. Because once it spreads, the sphere gets bigger and bigger. So I've seen treatment plants operate over 30 years and it never gets cleaned up. It might decrease, but it's never, it doesn't go to zero, let's say.
And how many wells do we currently have that are inactive as a result of some contaminants right now in the city?
Of contaminants in general, or specifically this contaminant that we're discussing?
In general.
In general. I believe there's 5.
And are we working to resolve those issues right now as well?
Yes, absolutely. So if you recall, about a month ago, we brought forward to you the State Street project, which are going to be cleaning up 2 of the wells that I'm referring to as being offline due to contamination. Well 11 is another. And then we have a couple of others that we're working right now on to also bring back.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate your efforts.
Of course, thank you.
Mayor.
Most of those are impacted by TCP 123, correct?
That is correct, and the nitrates.
Yeah. Okay, any questions or?
But I guess from what they're saying, Mayor, what Hajan just said, in predicting the future, we'll have to anticipate that all of our wells will be required to mitigate against this as well in the future. So that's going to be impactful.
And they're looking at even more emerging contaminants with crazy, crazy levels that you can't even test for right now. So it's just going to get more and more expensive to provide good quality drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much. We need a motion and a second, please. Motion from Mayor Pro Tem Burton, second from Councilmember Lucio. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Item number 16, Professional Services Agreement for Community Facilities District Program Management and Related Services. This is to award an agreement to David, I think it's Tausig, and Associates Incorporated for $265,000 for the Community Facilities District Program Management and Related Services. Our staff report this evening will be provided by Contracts and DIF Administrator Sylvia Ramos and Director of Public Works Hygen Lee.
Good evening again, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. Public Works oversees the program management and construction administration of various public improvements associated with community facilities districts, referred to as CFDs, and the Development Impact Fee Program. Currently, the city consults with David Tausig and Associates, referred to as DTA, for the review of various payment requests received from developers for public improvements paid for through CFD bond proceeds and/or the DIF program. The existing professional services agreement with DTA expires on June 30th, 2025. Consequently, staff prepared a request for proposal, which was published on Planet Bids on February 27th, 2025. The city received 3 proposals in response to the RFP. The proposals were evaluated and ranked based on qualifications, references, proposal quality, and cost. DTA has extensive knowledge of the city's programs and currently supports several ongoing projects. To maintain continuity and to ensure timely delivery, staff recommended continuing services with DTA as they ranked top firm following the evaluation process. Therefore, it's staff's recommendation to the City Council to award a professional services agreement to DTA in the amount of $265,000. The initial term of the agreement is 1 year, beginning July 1st, 2025, with 2 additional 1-year extensions. Lastly, all costs associated with this agreement are offset through bond proceeds collected through the CFD and the administration fee collected through the DIF program. That concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Would anyone like to address the council on item number 16? Seeing none, council comments, questions? Motion and a second, please. Motion from Councilmember Comstock, second from Councilmember Flores. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Okay, next item on the agenda is mayor and council reports. I have number 17, Community Support Fund. I always wait till the last month to put in my requests, which I've done it again. You see the list in the report of all the organizations that I wish to donate money to. So I would entertain a motion in a second, please, to approve the list. Motion from Councilmember Lucio, second from Councilmember Flores. Please vote. Item 17 passes unanimously. My report. On Wednesday, June 4th, I attended the Omnitrans and San Bernardino County Transportation Authority Boards of Directors. Thursday, June 5th, along with Mayor Pro Tem Burton and Councilmember Flores, attended the Employee Recognition Luncheon attended by over 350 employees. The theme this year was Western, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. The committee did a wonderful job with the decorations, and it was so unique to Chino. It was really fun. Employees received their 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and 35-year pins. I received my 40-year pin and a beautiful glass sculpture. And I'd like to congratulate all the employees that received special recognition from their peers and other departments. It's always rewarding to see how well you all work together and acknowledge each other. And a special, did she leave? No, she's still here. Special congratulations to Sherry, who's talking. Caught you. Special congratulations to Sherry. She received, I think, 3 different recognitions, which is pretty phenomenal. Congratulations, Sherry. And then attended the Chino Hills State of the City address. That was very well attended and well done. Friday, June 6th, I attended the Senior Center June birthdays. Saturday, June 7th, I attended Boy Scout Troop 201's Eagle Scout Award ceremony. 5 boys received their Eagle Scout rank: Garrett Hayakawa, Andrew Shue, Chase Wilson, Mark Anthony Roberts Jr., and Trent Uloa, my grandson. Monday, June 9th, Mayor Pro Tem Burton and I conducted one community services, Parks and Recreation committee interview, and city manager Comstock, city manager, oh my gosh, council member, Linda, you've been replaced. I put C.
I'll take that promotion.
Oh my goodness sakes. Council member Comstock and I conducted 3. Tuesday, June 10th, I attended our grandson Trent Uloa's Sea Scout Quartermaster Award ceremony, and we are so very proud of him. He has now earned the highest awards possible for Boy Scouts and Sea Scouts, and we found out that evening that of all the Boy Scouts, only 2% achieve Eagle Scout. And of the 2%, only 1% of the 2% ever get quartermaster. So we are really, really proud of that young man. He's 17, he'll turn 18 in July. He wants to go into the Coast Guard, and then he wants to retire after 20 years and be a harbor master. He has his whole life planned out. That's incredible. At 17, I didn't know what I was going to do. Wednesday, June 11th, that morning I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast. That evening, we held our State of the City address, which I believe was very, very successful. And I'm sure the rest of the council will provide additional details, but I thought it went really well. Thank you very much to staff. You guys did a phenomenal job. It was really nice. Thursday, June 12th, I attended the Omnitrans Admin and Finance Committee meeting and SBCTA Transit and Metro Valley Committee. That afternoon, I attended the Inland Empire Utilities Agency Chino Basin Program Stakeholder Workshop, which I don't know, hi Jen, I don't know if they really clarified much with that either. Monday, June 16th, yesterday, participated in a Teams meeting with Chino Postmaster Fernando Guzman, and I think we received some pretty positive information. Finally, they're going to analyze that post office and see if they can either make some modifications. If not, they may look for a new location. And if nothing else, they're going to look for possibly a satellite location down in the preserve because they have grown so much. So maybe we'll finally get a nice post office. And then today, Councilmember Comstock and I participated in a legislative committee meeting, and I had my one-on-one meeting with City Manager Reich. We had closed session, and then our meeting tonight. And then I have to publicly wish my dear husband a happy 50th wedding anniversary. We celebrate that Saturday. So, can you imagine putting up with me for 50 years? I can't imagine either. He deserves the biggest trophy in the whole world. He is just the most amazing man. In my whole time with him, 50 years, that man has never told me no. If there's anything I want to do or try or anything, he's always said, if that's what you want to do. And that poor man, I mean, he's put up with dogs and chickens and horses and goats, and he's not even an animal guy, you know? But he just, I don't know, I'm just really, really blessed. And he's put up with a lot for 50 years. So if you ever see him, just, pat him on the back and tell him hang in there. We've got probably another 50 to go, right? And that's my report. Mayor Pro Tem. You're right.
Thank you, Mayor. On June 4th, I took a tour of the Yorba Slaughter Adobe down on the south side of the city with members of the San Bernardino County Museum System, as well as our staff in the Historical Society. On the 5th, I also attended the Employee Recognition Luncheon. After that, I attended the Chino Basin Desalter Authority Board meeting, and then headed down south to the Inland Empire Utilities Agency Board meeting, and then ended my day with the Chino Hills State of the City address. On the 6th, I attended the South Coast AQMD Board meeting with Deputy City Manager Vivian, and to oppose 11-11-11-21 on behalf of the city of Chino. And by the way, there were hundreds of people there in admittance, and they reduced our time from 1 minute that we could speak down to 45 seconds. And it's very difficult for me to speak, quickly as it is. And a lot of these people will attest to that, but I'll tell you, I think I got it down to 45 seconds, and I did pretty well, believe it or not. On the 9th, I participated in Community Service Parks and Recreation Commission interviews with the mayor, and then my one-on-one with the city manager. On the 11th, I attended the mayor's prayer breakfast, and then attended the city council special meeting with the rest of the council, and then attended our State of the City down at the Plains of Fame, which was very, very nice. On the 12th, I attended the Inland Empire Utilities Workshop, and then I went to the concerts on the lawn, the Kiwanis concerts on the lawn with my wife. We enjoyed the Smooth Sounds of Santana, which is a Santana tribute band, and it was really, really nice and very well attended. If you have a chance to attend these concerts on Thursday evenings here at City Hall, do it. It's a very family-friendly, fun event. It's free, and you can't beat it. It's great entertainment. Please come out. On the 13th, I attended the water facility tour with a geologist, myself and Hagen, Andy Malone. I didn't realize we had some instruments located down at Ayala Park that measured the subsidence within our community as a result of overpumping years ago from cities that I won't mention right now, but they were able to get a handle on it, and they've got these really intense, intricate instruments down there at Ayala Park, just south of the softball fields, that you just can't imagine what it measures. But anyway, it was pretty cool, and I appreciated Andy Malone coming out and helping us out with that. On the 16th, I had my one-on-one with the city manager, and then I attended the Cultural Arts Foundation meeting. And I would like to thank Bob Nigg and Daniel Medrano for their comments tonight regarding the Eden project. People are not going to agree all the time on things, and we just have to agree to disagree on a lot of issues. But I do appreciate Bob Nigg and what he had to say, and Daniel for coming out. Which leads me, and I'm really sorry that our local newspaper media person left, which doesn't surprise me. But as a reminder, I would encourage everyone to go to our fact page. The city has a fact page that will tell you what a myth is that's being circulated on social media as well as our local newspaper, and then it will tell you what the facts are. So please do not believe everything you read on social media and in our local newspaper. Go to our fact page and you'll get the information. If it doesn't make sense, please call, because I can guarantee there'll be somebody here that will explain it to you, and you'll have a full understanding. And then finally, Mayor, I want to say happy anniversary to you and Bob. I think it's awesome. 50 years is a long, long time, and I just think it's awesome, and what a blessing that you're able to share that time together. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. On Monday, June 9th, I attended my weekly one-on-one with the city manager. And then, as you stated earlier, Mayor, I conducted community services, parks, and recreation interviews with you. It was a good group of candidates. I want to thank everybody who applied, and congratulations to those that were either reappointed or selected. On June 10th, I attended a meeting with staff and a local business owner regarding some business concerns in the area of East End and Philadelphia Avenue. On June 11th, I attended the State of the City at the Plains of Fame, which has already been covered tonight. The only thing I would like to add, in addition to thank you to our staff and job well done, is just congratulations to the Spirit of Achievement winner, which is Central Basco, as well as the Businesses of the Year, to Dr. Hill and his veterinary clinic, as well as to Hottinger's Meats. That was a great evening, Mayor, and you did a great job, and so did our staff, so thank you to everybody for that evening. On June 16th, I attended my weekly meeting with the city manager, and that brings me to today. I attended the legislative policy meeting with the mayor and our staff, which has already been covered. Closed session after our legislative policy meeting, and just congratulations as well to those. That was a nice award presented tonight by the Area D coordinator for the CERT members. I was out of town on vacation, which is why I missed the meeting earlier in the month, but more importantly, not more importantly, but equally important, is I did miss a couple of memorial ceremonies, and that of Joe Fraga and Judge Youngquist. I just wanted to extend my apologies for missing, and again, my sympathy with both their family. Mayor, also happy anniversary. That's a great milestone. A lot of people won't reach it any longer. I'm looking forward to celebrating with you this weekend. Last thing I'd like to add is that Councilmember Burton and myself are traveling to Sacramento tomorrow morning. A long overdue inspection and audit of the California Institute for Men is on the consent calendar in the State Assembly. So we're hoping to go up there, that item doesn't get pulled and that it is passed, and we can look forward to a proper review of the operating conditions over of CIM. I just want the employees of CIM to know as well that we are wanting that audit to be done so that we can hopefully appropriately fund and make corrections to an institution that's long overdue for its fair share of funding, as a matter of working conditions for the people who work down there, for the inmate population that is housed down there, and most importantly to community and public safety. So Look forward to traveling with you tomorrow to Sacramento, Kurt, and that concludes my report, Mayor.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I think I'm going to forego a lot of just my report tonight, but a couple things I do want to share is, number one, happy belated Father's Day to all the fathers out there. But you guys get overlooked a lot, and so I just want to put that out there. I drove by many restaurants, and a lot of them weren't as full as Mother's Day were, but that's okay. You guys are definitely appreciated.
That's because we were on the grill.
For sure.
To the Berterech family, again, congratulations to your hard work and just a lot of what you've sowed in the city and continue to sow is being recognized in your Spirit of Achievement Award. And Mayor, congratulations, 50 years. And I will add, I don't think it's true that he says yes to everything, because there's been a couple fundraisers I've been to, and when he's buying those raffle tickets and you guys are deciding where to put those raffle tickets and what prizes, he knows where to put them, and he's told you no on a couple items, and he's been right. So, Bob, happy Father's Day to you as well. Thank you, Mayor. That concludes my comments.
You're welcome. Councilmember Lucio.
I, too, am going to forego my report. I'm just going to wish you a happy anniversary. 50 years is a great accomplishment. I hope to achieve that as well. And I just want to end with wishing my wife a happy birthday. Her birthday is going to be on the 30th.
Great. City Manager Reich.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I'll be quick because I see us trying to get out of here. But I just wanted to thank our team. Over the last 2 months, we've had a lot of, I'll say, heavy lifts. So we had the State of the City, we had the employee luncheon, getting past our budget and our budget workshop and our user fees. That was a lot of work for our team, and they work really hard. And I want to thank the council for your, passing those items tonight, but also your insight to make sure that we're on track with what you really want us to do. And second, I just want to thank you all for your participation in the State of the City and the video. You all did a fantastic job. I think we really had the opportunity, and we highlighted what a fantastic place Chino is to live and to work and to play. And that's it for tonight, Mayor.
City Attorney Galante.
Thank you. I would agree about the state of the city. It does make you proud at watching it. Everybody did a great job. Just a short comment about some of the testimony that was presented today on the Eden project. It's not that I don't have responses, it's that the time to respond is not now, but I do have corrections and some responses to the statements that were made. Those will be appropriately made during the appeal of that matter that has been appealed to the City Council. So that's when I will be free to respond to the comments.
Thank you. And where is Kevin?
He's waiting for us.
I am his stand-in this evening, Madam Mayor. He is up in Sacramento having meetings.
He went up early.
Up the state capitol, yeah. He had meetings today, and he will be meeting tomorrow as well.
Okay.
For the JLAC. So
Thank you,
joining
Ryan.
the council members up there as well. So, but he does send his greetings. I've been in contact with him several times throughout the day. So, good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. I'd like to address the recent concerns regarding the involvement of our local police department with federal immigration operations. I want to make it clear that our department does not participate in immigration enforcement or ICE operations. This is guided by both our internal policy and Senate Bill 54, which is the California Values Act. Both our policy and SB 54 limits local law enforcement's cooperation with federal immigration authorities. The Chino Police Department strictly adheres to this law. We've done some training recently and refreshed our officers' understanding of what their expectations are for policy and the law. Our officers are committed to helping our community, upholding the law with fairness, professionalism, and respect for all members of the community, regardless of their immigration status. Our priority is and always will be to keep Chino safe. While we do not engage in immigration enforcement, we may respond to assist other law enforcement agencies in the event of an emergency situation for officer safety or an immediate at risk, such as during an attack or a life-threatening emergency. We're going to help our law enforcement partners if their lives are in jeopardy. We want to assure the council and our community that the safety and well-being of every resident remains our top priority. And we are committed to serving everyone in the Chino community. So those are our comments for tonight. And things have been busy, obviously, in the law enforcement community, but I'm very thankful that our community has stayed safe. And we're working, obviously, to continue to keep our city safe. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
We had an incident in our neighborhood where there was a gentleman acting in a bizarre way, walking down the street. So had an opportunity to call in and ask them to check him out. And gosh, the response was not immediate, but very, very quick. I don't know how it was resolved. They didn't tell me, but I appreciate the response because this man was acting very strange.
Yeah, unfortunately, we just continue to see those types of incidents on the rise. But obviously, our commitment is to be out there, and when you call, we come.
Yeah, you guys do. Thank you very
And
much.
if I can say a couple of things, Captain Crowley, you know, the police department oftentimes are bombarded with negative comments. I want you to know that this council supports our police department 100%. I think you know that.
Yes, sir.
But if somebody's life is in jeopardy, I would expect our police officers to respond to that situation, whether as minimal as it may be. If somebody's getting hurt, somebody's out there that there's a potential for any kind of injury, I expect our officers to be out there and to be able to provide that safety as necessary. You're backed up by your council. We expect that of you. And more than anything else, we appreciate you and the work that the Chino Police Department does for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll make sure I pass on your comments to our officers.
I have one more comment, Mayor.
Yes.
Captain, thank you. You probably took note of the fact of Chief Minson's interview with the Chino champion regarding the enhancement, regarding the investigation with Ms. Cano, is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah, Chino.
Chino, yes. So just, again, thank you for all the department's work, not just with her fundraiser and supporting her family, but also the critical look that hopefully we're taking with the DA and the state and looking at enhancing the punishment for these types of crimes and how devastating they are to not just the Cano family, but to our entire community up and down the state. And I just want to echo the sentiments of obviously Councilmember Burton. We live in a great community. We're grateful for our police department. And I too, the statement that you made tonight is, perfect and accurate, but also if something were happening to any local law enforcement entity, we would expect for the Chino Police Department to be there to assist them in their mission. So thank you for standing solid in that and explaining that this evening and keeping our community safe.
Thank you, ma'am. One of the things that Chief Menson has made part of his mission and his goal is to make sure that we can do everything that we can to make sure we get good legislation and be able to have good influence in our state capitol. And obviously being there yesterday and today, it's just an example of his commitment to making sure that the laws that are being passed are good laws. So,
Thank you very much, Ryan.
thank you.
Director's report. Course Hygiene has something.
Oh, just a quick one, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Every year around this time, we produce a consumer confidence report regarding our water quality. So we are in the process of publishing that, and it will be available in all of our public buildings, and also it'll be published on our website. So we have excellent water quality, and we have our water operators do an excellent job making sure that our water system is protected from any even cross connections and such. So rest assured that our water system is safe. When you look at our consumer conference report, there's a section this year regarding lead-based services, or sometimes it could be lead or other type of metal. And sometimes they leach metal into the plumbing back into the homes. And if you suspect that the water quality inside the home may not be kosher, and every 3 years we do lead and copper rule testing. So if they suspect that their water quality inside is not, they have some suspicions, they could volunteer to be one of the water quality sample provider, so we could test that. So that happens every 3 years, and I think we just collected them last year, so it might come around in the next couple of years. So, but I just want to assure everybody that our water quality is in excellent shape.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and and Captain Corley, I've been into 6 different agencies. I have to say, Chino PD is the best.
We know that. Thank you. Gosh, 2 directors tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I just wanted to share that I have selected Ted Bistarki to be our Deputy Director for our department.
Oh, congratulations.
Effectively, he'll start on Monday.
Okay.
So Ted's been with us now 10 years as our Community Services Parks, as our manager, and has been in our field for 25 years. So
Great.
We're excited to have him as our Deputy Director.
Congratulations, Ted.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Beyond excited and honored for the opportunity and just, sorry. I'm extremely honored and excited about this opportunity and beyond, I can't even say, I tongue-tied and thinking what I was going to say, but really looking forward to serving our community in a new capacity. So as we continue
Gosh, you're
to
at
grow.
every event I'm at. I mean, you're everywhere. You're so responsive and so responsible. So congratulations.
Thank you all
I think
very
it's
much.
a great choice.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Battalion Chief Dean Smith. And where is your chief?
Where is our chief? He's at a much-deserved vacation with his family back east.
Good.
Certainly, he does extend his wishes to be here tonight, but I will stand in his presence. So thankful to be here. I won't, Madam Mayor, be able to contain my comments to 45 seconds, though, as Mayor Pro Tem. I don't know how you did it. But we are super thankful, first off, to say that you would allow us to introduce our newest firefighter paramedics, those 7 members, to bring us to a staffing of 111 members to serve this community. Thank you. That's an honor for them to be here, to meet you all, to meet our community. That's an honor for us to have them. So thank you for that. And then 2 other items real quickly to bring to your attention, something that's very momentous for us as a fire district. We did approve the bid contract for construction for Station 68. We've talked about that in the past, so we are thankful. We should see that ground being broken officially with tractors this time and not golden shovels, but hopefully within the next 30 days or so. So we are very excited to bring that station on board. It'll serve both communities of Chino and Chino Hills. And then last, we did take delivery of what's called an ARF. If you're not familiar with that term, that's an aircraft rescue and firefighting apparatus. So we took that delivery. It's a joint venture between the fire district and the county of San Bernardino to be able to have adjunct apparatus to serve the airport for crashes there at the airport or off airport. And so we are outfitting that apparatus at this point. It is something that's going to greatly improve our ability to respond to those types of incidents. And we hope to be able to bring that into full service in the next 60 days. So we're excited about that and working with our partners at both Ontario International Airport and the San Bernardino County airports to be able to train our staff as well. So we're really excited about that. But 2 brief comments of 2 momentous things that the fire district has just celebrated. So thank you very much. Thank you for allowing us to be here and step in for Dave.
I have a
Unless you have any
question
questions.
for you,
Yes,
Dean.
ma'am.
Harup JCSD, Harupa Services Community District, has invested in a helicopter and these tanks that are placed in strategic areas where it can help with firefighting. Have you guys looked into anything like that at all?
Yeah, we have actually. We do have 2 they're called helihydrants, I think you're referring to.
Yes.
And those are activated by radio interface from our helicopters, our firefighting helicopters that are in the area. They do open and flood a cistern, essentially, that's underneath the ground and allows for the rotor wing helicopters to be able to draft out of those. It's all secure from the public as far as drowning and things like that. So it's all secure with fencing and then doors and so forth. We do have two up in the Chino Hills. One of our closest ones is near where the Blue Ridge incident was in 2020. That was operational. In fact, we just rafted out of that at a fire in the Chino Hills State Park just about 2 weeks ago. So they work great. We have two along the, if you will, the Chino Hills area. They are in Orange County. We have looked at them. It would be a large endeavor for us to do, but certainly we could do that maybe with as a joint initiative or something like that with some grant funding. But certainly we are surrounded well in our community in the hills that surround us. Yeah,
That's good. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive system.
It's incredible.
He had you need to ask to see that video. There was a video of how quickly those cisterns can fill up. The helicopter comes in. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it works really well. Like I said, we had probably no fewer than 20 return trips by helicopters, including the helicopter that you see down the street from CAL FIRE, Copter 609, about 2 or 3 weeks ago on our fire in the state park. So, yeah.
I was not aware that we had that. Great.
Sorry?
Wasn't aware that we had that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, then we are adjourned to our next regular meeting, which will be held on July 1st at 6 o'clock with closed session starting no earlier than 4 if necessary. We are adjourned.